I weighed myself, by the way. I've lost 50 pounds now.
Fucking hell.
In 51 days.
I love you, man.
Isn't that mad?
To put it into
You're the man.
perspective, Nyla's the tallest kid in her class. She weighs 45 pounds. He's lost
mad,
5 pounds
He's
on a
lost-
4. He's lost a 4-year-old. A tall 4-year-old.
He's lost a 4-year-old. Just call me the McCann parents. Oh, God. Sorry.
The McCann diet. The McCann diet.
Zap us all around.
The McCann diet is crazy.
What the fuck am I supposed to say?
Let's get to work, man.
Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul is finalizing in negotiations right now, apparently. We're going to talk about that today. But first, couple of things. Next week, we are in Saudi Arabia for Anthony Yarde versus David Benavidez, Devin Haney versus Brian Norman Jr. And 4 world titles are on the line in 4 amazing fights. I can't wait for it. But also, this weekend, it's Eubank versus Ben live on DAZN. The link is in the pay-per-view link is in the description below. When you get your pay-per-view, you also get a 7-day free trial. Right, lads? AJ versus Jake Paul. Just first reaction.
What the
I don't
fuck
wanna
is
believe
going
it.
on here?
Why?
I don't want to believe it. And unless somebody wants to kill Jake, does someone want to kill Jake Paul?
The move is bizarre, and I can't help but feel like this calculated gamble is going to go horrendously wrong.
Whoa.
I think there's something there about maybe the way Americans say Anthony Joshua. I've seen it because he's not the only American. Like, there's retired boxers been calling AJ out from over there. Like, I don't think that they realize, because of what AJ was like when he performed in America against Andy Ruiz, and just generally since then, he's lost a couple. I think they massively underestimate him. And I also think part of it is just Jake Paul thinking, what's the biggest fucking name I can do? What's the biggest event? What's one that I actually, delusionally, in my opinion, think that he's got a chance of just landing a big shot on him, and he just doesn't rate AJ's chin. And it's like, yeah, but like Daniel Dubois, it's not the same, is it? What does this do to Anthony Joshua's legacy just by even taking this fight? Lawrence, you've known him for a lot of years.
To be honest, that's who I'm focused on. I don't really care about Jake Paul. I'm just thinking, AJ needs to get himself back on track after that devastating defeat to Daniel Dubois. Why is he concentrating on Jake Paul? Like, he doesn't need him on his radar. He needs to be focusing on real fighters. And in terms of legacy, I mean, yeah, he's an active fighter. When your career's done, finished, have those type of fun fights. But right now, it makes zero sense to me. So it's just frustrating for me, to be totally honest.
That's the mistake that you're making, though, Loza, because you think he's still he's semi-retired. This is the movement of someone that is on his way out of the game, and you can't turn down that type of money, especially on the night's work that it's going to be. This is like he's already got generational wealth, but you can imagine how big this is going to be. And it's
Netflix, guys. Netflix.
It's massive. Like, so that even I remember Eddie Hearn talking about it, and it seemed like he really wanted that fight, and he's really gutted that it went to Gervonta. They didn't waste any time getting back in there. And it's not only AJ that I saw Ngannou piping up and cussing Jake Paul.
Francis Ngannou's dropped the bag, on a level that I've never seen before. Like, he was like, Francis thought, like, I'm above you. We shouldn't even be talking. And it's like, mate, Anthony Joshua's about to collect this check, man. He's just, like, you had a chance and he just dawdled on it, and now it has gone up in smoke. I don't understand, because Francis is out in the cold. No one's talking about Francis Ngannou. That was his chance to get back in the mix, knock Jake Paul out, get on the mic. Tyson Fury, I want my rematch. Like, all of a sudden, people care about you again, and now you're just sleeping on it. And this is exactly what AJ is going to do, by the way. From everything I'm saying, it's AJ. He's going to go in there. He needed a run-out fight anyway. Is this the level of run-out fight to prepare you for Tyson Fury? Is it fuck? But he's going to go. He's going to collect a massive check, and then they're going to have a sit down, and next year, by all accounts, it's going to be AJ Fury at Wembley, and this is going to be his little bounce between.
On what channel? On Netflix or DAZN, though?
I think that'll be a DAZN fight, personally. I think the reason that this is Netflix is the Jake Paul relationship with Netflix. And I think Jake Paul, he just wants to make the biggest possible event. With him, he always thinks about, like, what's the most unpredictable, amazing thing. And I'm guessing we haven't really spoke about from his angle. For him, legitimacy is something he's been chasing for a long time. If he goes in there And let's just say, for example, he thinks, all right, logically, I'm probably not going to win this fight. But if I last longer than Francis Ngannou, if I put up more of a fight than people were expecting, all of a sudden, my credibility goes much, much higher. And I'm collecting an insane check. Like, he needs dance partners. He struggled with one. I don't know why the fuck they picked Tank in the first place. Like, we're calling the Tank fight out. What for? What, because he beat up a woman again? He's done it about 7 times in the last 3 years. What the fuck difference does it make now? Like, I don't know why that they really cancelled on that, because clearly
Tank was doing nonsense. It's a Tank thing. Like, you couldn't trust him even when it was in the presser, face to face, and they're chatting. Tank's not going. There's a script, there's I say this, you say this, let's sell this fight and let's move. Tank wasn't willing to play ball, and they're like, this is a spectacle. We're trying to get eyes to Netflix, and this guy's the worst dance partner because we don't trust even that he'll show up. And that's why they didn't go to Garcia as well. That's another one that you can put your faith in, but then you'll say that he's probably got the outside the ring demons that's really affecting what he needs to do.
Question about AJ, though, because I think AJ is aware of the disrespect around his name right now. There was a rumor going around about how he went to Canelo's gym and Canelo offered to spar him. And
that doesn't actually surprise me, to be fair. Canelo used to spar Frank Sanchez.
I can't remember. It was the Sky Sports guy told this story. That's Johnny Nelson.
Yep.
Johnny.
I heard someone else telling it as if Johnny Nelson had said it to them, so I didn't hear it firsthand. But something about AJ getting in the car afterwards and being like really like felt mugged off. And is AJ going to go in there? Providing, and let's be real here, AJ isn't going to sign up to a fixed fight, a rigged fight before we even start that. AJ just wouldn't entertain that, in my opinion. Is he going to go in there and be spiteful like he was with Francis Ngannou and destroy him in the quickest possible time? Or is he going to play with him a bit and maybe auto-walling him, like just soften him up before the kill?
I think he'll play with him a little bit. I don't think he should. I think that the only reason he might is because of a little bit of ring activity. But ultimately, I think that when we were talking about careers, obviously AJ himself has mentioned world titles for a 3rd time. So it's not, it's not like we're bringing this up and AJ hasn't mentioned it. But I very much agree with what was said earlier in terms of there isn't a career, you're semi-retired, and instead of a world title now, it's the Tyson Fury fight. So if all roads lead to the Tyson Fury fight, and then we're looking at the selection of this opponent in Jake Paul, correct me if I'm wrong, right? And just to clarify, I don't class Otto Wallin as a very competitive fight. Every competitive fight that AJ is in from now until the end of his career and has been in for the last few years, I believe has taken something out of him. Every time he's in a competitive fight, even when he's won, and I'm not saying taken out of him to the extent where he's no longer a good fighter, no longer can do anything, but every single one has taken one out of him. So let's say, for example, you go down the Tony Yoka route and you can sell it as the 2 Olympic gold medalists and whatever. It's a lose-lose, mate. You're expected to knock him out. If you don't, then you go the distance. I think that's going to take something out of you. I actually think that this could be better prep for a Tyson Fury fight. Not just
mentally as well, because he smokes him and it looks great, and then he's confident.
This is what I'm saying, right? Not just from a stylistic boxing standpoint, but from the mental standpoint of the fact that if you go in there and you smoke Jake Paul, straight away, all of a sudden, it's headline news, it's massive. And as well as that, you're coming in off the back of something that's impressive, right? We all felt like the Francis Ngannou performance was really impressive, but it wasn't followed up with an impressive performance. So it doesn't actually determine whether or not...
This is worse. This is worse than that. I don't know what you're thinking, Lawrence, but the Ngannou one, you could at least say heavyweight. You could say that his pedigree. So we didn't really... While he was coming from a different kind of method of fighting, end of the day, he's still a champion. We're talking about Jake Paul, guys.
Do you know what's mad? Can I just add something in before Loza jumps in? There are Americans, and I've heard them in the last 24 hours, giving Jake Paul a better chance than Francis Ngannou, saying he has the boxing experience. Francis Ngannou didn't have enough boxing experience. Because that's how Americans view this whole thing.
Well, no, Francis Ngannou did have more boxing experience than Jake Paul.
Yeah. but that's what they're saying is like, Francis Ngannou had one fight, Jake Paul's had like 10, 12.
10 rounds, and you little say I'm licking his ass. 10 rounds of Tyson Fury, will gain you more experience than everything Jake Paul has done so far in his career.
What, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.? Stop underrating him.
Know.
Come on. Mike Tyson, he's been in there with, I'll have you know.
I just think this.
I'll let Loza go.
I think this is another situation with the Otto Wallin and Francis Ngannou of like that false sense of security, because this fight with Jake Paul will do him no good. And I know, Joe, you're kind of saying preserve AJ's kind of mentality, give him the confidence, but I don't think he needs that. I think he needs a little bit of a half-decent preparation, just someone who's going to give him a few rounds, because we've said before, size, like heavyweight boxing it's a rule to its own. So at least Francis Ngannou was a big, strong fighter with loads of fight experience. Maybe not as much boxing experience as Jake Paul. I can't believe I'm even saying that. I don't even put Jake Paul, he's not a heavyweight. It's as simple as that. I've sparred AJ, when I was on GB. He is a monster when he stands in front of him. And Jake Paul, I think, is about my size. Correct me if I'm wrong, Brian. I know you've kind of said he's about my sort of build. So, and he totally
even as big as you, Loz, you're a naturally bigger lad than him without a fucking doubt. And bear in mind, you fought a light heavyweight, not even cruiserweight. Jake is smaller than you frame wise, but he's just bulked up a lot. Like I interviewed this lad for his first ever boxing match against Deji. Deji, who laid a fucking black eye on Floyd Mayweather, by the way. Shout out. By the way, can we just acknowledge someone in this group has sparred Anthony Joshua? Like, that's fucking cool, by the way.
Yeah. No, I think why that's incredible, why I got to give Jake Paul some credit is, who's on his box rec? Are you telling me Mike Tyson? It didn't make sense.
And AJ. Yeah, I think that's what it is for him. I think that's what it is. It's like, when he's done, he wants to be able to sit there and go, I fucking fought Mike Tyson and Anthony Joshua. Because his life in his head, he looks at it almost like a movie. Like, when you've done so many amazing things, social media wise, then into boxing, people underestimated you. It's about like, how fucking far can I push this? Now, my question for you lads, who, you've been through the stages, Joey and Loza, of finding your feet in a boxing ring and going through the levels, and the level that he's just been at with Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Was a respectable level considering where he started out at. I give him a lot of respect in terms of that guy. All right, he's not what he was, but he's a proper professional boxer, and you beat him convincingly. Now, you didn't really hurt him. And towards the end of the fight, you got tired and he was hurting you a little bit and he was catching you a little bit. And if he can catch you, wow, what the fuck can Anthony Joshua do? Not to mention, what does it say when, if I'm being honest, a lot of people think Jake Paul took it easy on Mike Tyson, maybe at the very end. I think Jake Paul was very wary of being hit by big old Mike Tyson. Early on, he was very, very wary. How the fuck is he going to approach Anthony Joshua, whose legs do work, whose arms are fucking 2 meters long, and who can just get a hold of you pretty quickly in there? How's that going to look like?
Do you know what it makes me question? Like, it really makes me question, who have you sparred? Who have you sparred to give you
a lot of heavyweights?
But honestly, who have you sparred to give you this confidence, right? And you say a lot of heavyweights, right? The reason I say this is this, and I don't know whether Loza will agree with me. Sometimes, right, you'll go down and you'll go down to a gym. You'll spar at a certain level. So, I've sparred boys that have boxed for English titles, won English titles, right? You'll spar at a certain level, and maybe this is me being a negative mindset. Inside of myself, I know I'll never get to that level. I've not got time to get to that level. I'll never get as good as him. I can give him good spars, whatever. I'll never get as good as him, sort of thing. Now, if I was to spar someone at world level, which I've done before, you realise, oh my God, I would have needed to have been born 20 years earlier and started training from birth to get to that level. What I'm saying is, when you go through the levels in sparring, there is a very grounding moment. There's a realization where you realize, fucking hell, this is what everyone meant about levels in boxing. I find it really hard to believe that Jake Paul is taking this fight without ever going in there and getting in there with a heavyweight and giving a decent account of himself. And I'm not on about any heavyweight. I'm not on about Hasim Rahman Jr. I'm on about I don't know, has he got in there with another American, Jared Anderson, someone like that? I haven't seen it, so I don't know where he's got the confidence to take the fight from.
I just can't get my head around it because you can't gain any confidence because the level we're talking with AJ, I know I've sparred all different levels, cruiserweight, I've sparred heavyweight. When it comes to size, like I said earlier, the rules are broken. So even if you can compete at world level, say for me, in light heavyweight, you can't compete at world level at cruiserweight. Then you go up a level again to, world level heavyweight. I'm sorry, but there's no way he's competing with any heavyweight in the gym who's of any decent level around AJ's level. So, and I know sparring with them big guys, their jab, it's like a backhand. I've sparred with Brian. Me and Brian have had to move around. When you're, 19, 20, I don't know, how are you? Heavy are you, Brian? When you're around 20 stone.
300 pound, yeah.
Your jab
Pure
is heavy.
muscle.
You know what I mean? Like, the difference in power is just non-comparable. So I don't believe there's any confidence there. I don't believe he's gained anything from the sparring. I think it's his pure stupidity in wanting to really be able to say, I've been in there with a heavyweight, AJ. He doesn't care if he gets absolutely KO'd round one. I don't
think so. I think you get to a stage of what he's achieved in YouTube and just in life, and you think anything's possible. I just think he's in that arc.
He definitely does. I agree with you.
Anything's possible.
Yeah. And I think delusion takes some people and I rate people, and I rate Jake Paul in many ways for having that, anything's possible attitude, because look at how fucking far it's got him. But sometimes reality can be very painful.
Yep.
And I think that this might be one. Now, I'm just going to round this off on one thing, because I think everyone's unanimous on here. We don't give Jake Paul a shot in this fight. And I do think Jake Paul's looked at the Daniel Dubois fight and thought, just stick it on him. He's actually, having met, and this is the thing, you say I'm a really big lad, Loza, for example. I'm a really big guy, but there's different kinds of big men. So I'm like a power lifter kind of build. When you meet Daniel Dubois, Anthony Joshua, Francis Ngannou, these are different to big men like me. These are like freak athletes. These are special. I'm not special, right? They're like, if Anthony Joshua had been trained in Olympic swimming pools as a kid, I just taught swimming and not boxing, he'd be winning a gold medal in that. He's a fucking freak, right? And I say that with love. Now, that's the difference, right? So, when they get in the ring together, we're expecting Anthony Joshua to win this clearly, but
nasty knockout.
If we're within the parameters of that, what is a win for Jake Paul? What scenario can you come out and go, you know what, you did well there, kid? And on the flip side of it, let's also talk about AJ. What would be a loss for him? Let's say he wins, but does it in a way that everyone goes, yeah, but so give me those scenarios in your head.
I got the first one. I'll just talk about AJ. AJ has to knock him out in the first 4 rounds. It has to be. It can't be. 4 is too long. I'm being generous. But I feel like he might try to, put on a show for Netflix and, this is the main event.
You know what the best show is?
End it.
The Ngannou style show, going in there and fucking polaxing someone. And I ain't saying I want it to happen. Look, I think Jake Paul, I've said it a million times, I think Jake Paul's good for boxing. I think what he's done for female boxing's really good. But ultimately, right, there's a man named Anthony Joshua who sat there and he has heard everyone's opinions online since that Daniel Dubois defeat. All you've got to do is go in there and stick it on him. He can't recover, whatever. And yes, at a certain level, those opinions might be valid, but we're not talking about at this level. We're not talking about guys who are fighting former NBA players, retired fighters, ex-MMA guys, stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Resume-wise, just quickly, what do you think that Anthony Joshua would do to Nate Diaz in a boxing ring? Okay? Jake Paul went the distance with the man. So what the public, I think, will want to see, and what Anthony Joshua will want, is a little bit of turning around and going, listen, right? I might not be of the level I once was, but to think that you lot have disrespected me to the level where you think a civilian can get in a boxing ring with me and have a chance, I'm about to put on a fucking show here. That's what I'm expecting.
Yeah. You've nailed that there, Joey. No one can say it better. Despite, we want the spiteful, bad motherfucker, AJ. That's what I want to say. I want to say and remind people.
You lot want to kill. That's what I've learned today.
I actually really hope he gets out of the ring safe. That's what I feel.
No, but the point is Anthony Joshua's career to us as AJ fanboys, yeah, like to some degree, this British boxing fans, it means a lot, right? Like if Jake Paul can go in and have a good fight against AJ, it delegitimizes the entire fucking world of boxing, pretty much. It ruined, I mean, it just totally, people were worried about Francis Ngannou and what he did to Tyson Fury. At least Francis came in, was a UFC fucking heavyweight champion and one of the world's baddest men. But let's just finish on one thing. What is a win for Jake Paul? What scenario do people come out and go, Jake Paul won that fight morally over Anthony Joshua?
Get up after you've been knocked out.
He survives a round or two maximum. If he survives a round, he doesn't get knocked out. Because I've been in there with AJ. When he lets his hands go, he's an absolute monster. So if a man of his experience, Jake Paul, if he can survive 2 rounds, I'll give him all the credit in the world. Absolutely.
Would you reckon, KG?
I don't think because the knockout's going to be devastating. I don't think there's any grace that you can take from it. It's just going to be, this was stupid. I don't know who booked this.
I
want to watch it.
I think there's grace you can take from it. It's a random fight. It's a random fight to say about, but I don't know if anyone remembers when Daniel Dubois fought a bloke called Richard Latte. Yeah, Dubois done him in about 4 rounds, but Latte came in there,
put him through hell, didn't he?
Put him through hell, right? And if there is more than one exchange, yeah. So I'm saying if there's there's 2-3 exchanges where AJ hits Jake, Jake hits AJ, and neither man goes down, eventually, Jake's gonna get knocked out, yeah? But if there's a couple of exchanges, I think that people will go, fucking hell, like, Jake actually hit him, like, Jake landed.
Do you know what? You've nailed it. You fucking nailed it, Joey, because on Jake Paul's highlight reel of his life and on his YouTube videos, he just needs one clip of him giving a right good fucking right hand to AJ, and that's enough, really.
100%.
That's it.
What happens if did Ngannou? I can't remember.
Ngannou landed left hook on AJ.
Because all I remember is, this is what I'm talking about. All I remember is AJ just stumbling Ngannou in a bad way. I don't remember anything Ngannou did. I don't remember anything Ngannou did.
I've had flashbacks. All right, we'll wrap this one up. Smashed it, lads. We'll wrap that one there.